Christian Goedl muss ran gegen einen zweimaligen World Masters Champion. 2014 wurde er der Video-Weltmeister. Seit 2014 ist er auch bei der PDC mit dabei. Ist aktuell die Nummer 22 der Welt. Herzlich willkommen hier in München, the Bullet, Stephen Bunting!
Oh, well, everybody's heard about the bird.
A former world champion, the Bullet, Stephen Bunting, on stage here in Munich at the Zenith Kulturhalle, looking for a place in the second round at the German Darts Grand Prix, the second Euro Tour event of the year. We've seen, well, some massive performances today already. Steve Lennon and Chris Dobie, the standout performers, but James Wade, very, very impressive. Some good stuff in spells from Josh Payne. And Tony Alcinas has just seen off James Wilson to ensure there'll be some Spanish representation in the second round here in Munich this weekend. We've got two more games to come after this one. The Ferret, Johnny Clayton against Rene Bernd, the last German for us to see in action here today. And Adrian Lewis, jackpot, one of the biggest names in world darts, against Jordi Meywisser in the final game of the night. But can the Bullet turn it on and see off Christian Goedl, a man making his Euro Tour debut, having come through the European qualifier? He's from Austria. He played at Q School in Hildesheim this year. Didn't win, I mean, won 4 games.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg, Stephen to throw first. Game on.
So Bunting, the heavy favourite for this one. Chris Murphy alongside me, Dan Dawson for it.
Yeah, and Stephen Bunting, another one of those players that we've been discussing.
108!
As someone who may have gone missing for a while but seems to be bouncing back right now, and he's made himself known
100.
to Christian Goedl. Welcome to the European Tour. The first appearance on it for him this year, but he reached a Pro Tour final towards the back end of last year. That was in Dublin, and he's already had a couple of quarter-finals in 2018.
50.
Stephen Bunting is an absolutely quality player, isn't he? He's won more titles than most dart players will win in their career.
Oh, yeah.
100.
It's a couple of years since he won his last PDC title. He has 2 of them. He beat Michael van Gerwen in a final back in 2016. His first one was almost immediate, wasn't it? A UK Open qualifier when he beat Andrew Gilding.
Yeah, one of those magical Gilding days where he just seems genuinely world class. You don't see him do anything for a few months.
And that was just after he made the switch as the BDO World Champion. Came to the PDC with something of a fanfare, and he lived up to the hype for quite a while.
Yeah, he certainly did. Ooh, very low one, he yanks down, but double 10 is there for a 15-dart hold of throw. Christian Goedl, I mean, apart from obviously qualifying for this, and this is his first PDC ranking event, and playing in Q School at the start of this year, the European Q School in Hildesheim, the only other time he's been in action was the very, very first Euro Tour back in 2012, the Austrian Darts Open, when he tried to qualify for that. Now, in the end, he didn't make it through.
123.
But do you know who did?
$108.
Trying to name every player that qualified for the 2012 Austrian Darts Open.
No, it's from an Austrian qualifier.
55.
Mensur Suljovic?
It was Mensur Suljovic, you're right. Well.
140.
41 after 9 for Stephen Bunting. Now, after 11 for Stephen Bunting. And a 2-0 lead. He's flying out of the blocks, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely racing away in this one, Stephen Bunting. 15-dart hold, 11-dart break. Big average after the first couple of legs in the 110s.
84.
Yeah, it will be around 115. Dented by the 84.
108.
Well, fourth 180 of the match already. We've been treated to some good stuff this evening.
We have.
82.
And if these two carry on like this, oh my word.
Well, that would have been some story.
140.
Christian Goedl on his third leg on the European Tour popped in a 9-darter.
Really been wishing he tried to qualify for every single one of them, instead of just trying the one in 2012 and not turning up since.
96.
Just the 109 average of pair. No big deal. Another day on the European Tour, isn't it?
Well, this is a quite incredible leg.
135.
Oh, word. 41 left after 9 in the previous leg. 46 left after 9 for Goedl in this one.
96. 15 you require, 46. 6. Stephen, you require 143.
Well, this would hurt, but we've seen plenty of finishes like this tonight. We might be about to see another one.
Needed the treble 17, but strayed into the skinny bit of the 2. So Goedl gets another poke at the tops for a break of throw. And his first leg on the European Tour, double 10.
30.
Oh dear.
Stephen, you require 62.
They always say the winning double for a match is the hardest one to hit, but the first one can be pretty tricky as well.
The third leg, Stephen Bunting.
Particularly if it's your first one in any form of PDC ranking event.
He's not having many problems finding the treble.
140.
Mentioned the amount of big finishes we've seen so far at the German Darts Grand Prix. Question for you, where is the Dan Dawson Iron Ring Award leaning right now?
Well, that's a very good question. And even though we saw some monstrous ones from Chris Dobey,
41.
they did come when he was flying and seemingly just a procession. It was a coronation, it looked like, Chris Dobey, when he was taking those out. It just seemed to be playing under no pressure at all. I think the standout one
60.
probably came from Josh Payne. In fact, both of his big ones. The 160, which came after a 180 from Michael Rastovic to leave a finish that he never got a poke at. And then that magnificent 146 checkout when Rastovic was sat on 12 and didn't get a shot at it. And they came in a tight game. That was to go 5-3 up. I think the Iron Ring for outstanding bottle under pressure is currently being held by the maximum Josh Payne.
Yep, Josh Payne among this evening's winners. James Wade, Alan Taburn, Chris Dobey and Tony Alcinas, the others. Stephen Bunting halfway to joining them. 2 more matches after this. Johnny the Ferret Clayton against Rene Burnt, the final post-nation qualifier. And then jackpot Adrian Lewis in action against Jordi May-Wisser.
100. Stephen, you require 32.
Well, double 16.
And
I tell you what,
Stephen Bunting.
when Stephen Bunting has struggled, it is often in that section of the board. He stands so far over to the right-hand side that he's almost cutting down the amount of double he can hit. He's cutting down the angle on it. He's a lot further away from, say, something like double 10 or double 18.
140.
But if he's hitting it as well as he's hitting it tonight, then that's a pretty good measure of how well he's playing. I mean, aside from the fact that he's averaging 105, obviously.
On course to post the highest average of round 1 here in Munich.
Well, that third leg, the one that spoils the copybook a little bit. Goedl missing 5 darts for that
59.
one before Bunting took out the 62. it is still a very impressive display.
140.
Former Lakeside world champion and two-time winner of the World Masters, back-to-back winner of the World Masters.
125. Stephen, you require 121.
Yeah, it was Alan Norris that Stephen Bunting beat to win his BDO World title. Norris will take on Tony Alcinas tomorrow. Bunting, should he get over the Goedl hurdle, which he looks likely to do,
Stephen, you require 80.
will take on Ian White.
Now, can he find double top?
60.
He made life a little bit difficult for himself there, didn't he, with that second dart in the 20. I know he didn't want to bust it, which is why it was miles away from the treble 20. That's exactly where it needs to be, as is that one.
77.
And it's none out of 6 on the doubles for Christian Goedl.
Yeah, it was well thrown, but didn't find the targets, and now Christian Goedl is staring down the barrel of a whitewash defeat.
Game on.
Well, look, we have seen guys make their debuts on the European Tour and get ironed out 6-0.
140.
But I think it's a little bit harsh, this, on Goedl, who's averaging 93, and it's not as if he hasn't, you know, that's been kept artificially high because he's not having any darts at double. He's had 6 darts at double. He's missed them all. There you see. He's just run into Stephen Bunting playing some really, really exciting stuff. And ever since probably that weekend in Dublin you mentioned earlier, where he made that Pro Tour final, he was beaten by Mensur Suljovic. Ever since then, Stephen Bunting has looked like a player who's about to go and do something. Just something really eye-catching. Win something. Win one of these. Have a big run in a TV tournament. I thought it might have happened at the UK Open for him, but it just wasn't quite there.
57.
So him at the UK Open, end up losing 10-8 to Jermaine Wattermain.
Yeah, but as you say, since then, a couple of quarterfinals.
140.
Both on, well, in this month, in Players' Championship events.
108.
Goedl's going to get a chance to win a leg, but that chance has just become a lot more difficult.
Particularly when you're 0 out of 6 on your doubles.
46. Stephen, you require 68.
Bunting's finishing, however, has been very good.
Game shot.
Very, very good indeed for the Bullet. It's a 6-0 whitewash. The Goedl hurdle negotiated by Stephen Bunting. And he does set up a fascinating clash in the second round with a Diamond Ian White. 101 average for the Bullet. Very, very impressive. Job done for Stephen Bunting. Can Adrian Lewis, his fellow former world champion, and Johnny Clayton, a major finalist last year, negotiate their potentially tricky first round ties? It's Clayton against Rene Burnt in a moment, and then Adrian Lewis will face Jordi Maywisser in the final game of the night here at the German Darts Grand Prix. But here's your latest winner, the Bullet.
6-0, that looked good.
Yeah, no, it felt really good. I've been working really hard behind the scenes, putting a lot of hours in practice. A lot of you may not know a certain young guy called Dawson Michel, and I've been practicing with him, and he's been pushing me through my paces, and I can feel myself getting back to my own self. This week he's been really ill, so I've had to practice on my own, but get well soon, Dawson, and thanks for all the help.
Yeah. Where is your level right now? We know 22 in the ranking, but where is Stephen Bunting?
I believe I'm playing top 10. I think I'm getting back to my best. Like I said, I'm putting more hours in than I've ever done before, and I'm feeling confident again. I feel like I'm coming to events. I'm enjoying the events. I'm loving the the crowd, amazing, and yeah, I believe I can win events again.
Ian White is a test He just won a Pro Tour event.
Ian White's a great player. I can't wait to play him tomorrow, and the best man on the day will win. If I play my best game, I've got a really good chance.
Good to see you tomorrow again. Thank you very much. Stephen Bunting. Er sagt, er arbeitet so viel